Hey everyone, it's Sterling here. We're going to be going over the pound real quick. I'm taking an entry short in the pound, and I ended up taking this one from 92. It's about 5 pips down from that point right now. But I wanted to go over why I was taking it. It's roughly roughly in the same spot here, and so I want to go over the illustration as we're sitting here at essentially the entry point and go over why I'm taking it. Now we may get one more push against this into the one spot 6200 barrier. That's all right with me. The reason I'm taking it now is because I just don't know if we're going to get that push. We've had 3 cycles up, and we're getting into the area where we're getting into roughly close to 90 pips here, about 82 pips. That's why I say we may push a little bit more into 6200, complete a full 90 pip push against it. But we've seen a very tight range lately, so not really guaranteeing that push against it, which is why I want to take it from this point. So let's go over why exactly I am taking it from here. So when we look at this thing, we were talking about this last night in the daily market review, the members review, and it looks like on the hourly push, we've had a first push down, accumulation, second push down, accumulation, third push down. So in the market review last night, I was mentioning a couple points. I was mentioning, that obviously the Asian lows for a possible bottoming formation or stop run did end up giving a bottoming formation. I personally missed that because number one, I was sleeping. Number two, I had a pending order sitting just above 6100 in expectation of a push into 6100, a false push into 6100, ending that. So I did not catch that move up, unfortunately. If anybody caught that bottoming formation, congrats on that one. That was a nice trade. But looking at these highs here, we're into the average daily range. We're getting into yesterday's high. We've had 3 intraday cycles up: first push up, second push up, third push up. How far does smart money tend to drive the price when they make a push? Well, they tend to drive at 90 pips. We're right at 82. That's why I say they may push it a bit deeper. For me, this is enough to take the trade because I believe with a 20 pip stop, there's at least a 2-to-1 risk reward on this. Now, what I'm thinking here, and then my bias still is a little bit bearish because of what we're seeing in the eurozone. Normally, don't talk about fundamentals too much because we talk about what's tradable at face value, and fundamentals leave a lot to interpretation. But right now, there's a heavy bias short on the euro because of the uncertainty, and so when I see this pullback on the pound, this deeper pullback, to me that tells me even if we are going to start to cycle one cycle up, second cycle up, third cycle up, starting to make that reverse cycle, what I'm thinking is that we're at least going to see a deeper pullback, which is going to offer at least 2-to-1 on this position. So that's why I'm taking it here. That's why I believe an entry at 92 puts a stop at 12, which protects me from a stop run of 6200. It's just again hitting the average daily range. 3 cycles again, 3 cycles, intraday cycles, giving me a sign that it's possibly reversing. Seeing a smaller topping formation. We've seen it move roughly 90 pips. We're getting into yesterday's high. We're getting into a psychological barrier. To me, they've made that push up. They've completed their push for the day. And we got 2 options. One is this is the first push up, and they're going to see 2 more to the upside. Or the second option is this is a false push or a essentially resetting of their position before the next 3 cycles down. Either way, either one of those possibilities, we're going to see an end of the day pullback. It's going to pull back off of these highs at the end of the day. And so I'm expecting this to be the end of the push for the day at the very least, and we'll determine how long we can hold this as time progresses, and that's what we'll discuss a bit more as we move on. If we close right here near the highs, I'm going to be a bit concerned that we're going to see a stop run down out of Asia for the second push up. If we make a deeper pullback, I'll be a bit more comfortable with this, and that's what we'll discuss as time goes on. So I'll be back later on tonight, and we will go over this trade as it progresses. All right, I'll be closing this pound trade from here. We're at one spot 61.30 on the pound. Made a nice push down last night, and as you look at the hourly chart, uh, as far as what we're going to see beyond this point is up in the air, and that's where when we're sitting at the point where after the third push down has completed itself, although I wasn't too fond of that push up when we saw 3 intraday cycles. I thought at least we'd see somewhat of an intraday move. As we come back into those lows, the question of whether we're gonna hold and truly bounce for a reversal cycle to the upside, or whether we're gonna break through the lows, is not really a high probability setup in my opinion. And that's therefore I'd rather take roughly 3-to-1 on this trade, and ended up just getting out of the position. So taking an exit, it was getting out at 34 on this one. It was actually closer to 35, 34 and 6/10. But
just shy of 3 to 1 in that trade, and we may see further downside. But again, the reason I'm getting out at this point is because as we approach those lows, as we often say in the reviews, is when we're sitting in level three type accumulation, the safest trade is taking a topping formation or a bottoming formation or a stop run at the range high or low as you're sitting in that accumulation period. Notice these accumulation periods that separate the first push down from the second and the third push down. You get a lot of tests of that range. You get a lot of stop runs at the range high, stop run of the range low, stop run of the range high here, stop run of the range low here. So that multiple back and forth stop run of the range is what makes me get a little bit leery when I come into the pound and I see a nice bottoming formation here, and the candles confirming that. I just would rather play it safe than sorry and take the profit on this trade. So, hope this was informational as far as looking at taking a New York reversal trade. This was a little bit later in the day, but the reason for the trade again was the fact that we had 3 cycles to the upside. It was moving at least 90 pips, was hitting the average daily range, hitting the previous day's high. So at the very least, that was going to give us some reversal. Just ended up giving us a bit more, and actually as time progressed, came up and gave somewhat of a stop run here, a smaller stop run, which gave me more confidence to hold that through Asia. So it was a nice trade overall, and I will see you guys with the next one.